update on the World Team Championships that are coming up next October. We're hoping to make this a weekly event, and mostly we will talk each week about what has happened in terms of the team qualifying.
Today is more like warfare than you're saying.
And all of the goings on, the sound,
I spent
Amy.
34 years in the United States Army. I commanded 150,000 soldiers.
So we'll start out today talking about what the World Team Championships are. For those of you who don't already know, it's become really a highlight of the championship series where that we have 15-man teams from each country that race a backyard for their own national championship on a course in their own country. But they start simultaneously all over the world, and we keep the scoring so that we determine who has the best 15-man team around the world. Each lap that one of the runners runs, one of the athletes does, counts as 1 point towards the team's score. And it's turned out to be a very exciting thing. Backyards are, by their very nature, kind of a team competition because, unlike most races, you need your opponents to do well for you to do well. And in this case, everybody is on the same team because they want to beat the other countries. And so the 15 men, we rank them 1 through 15 from the qualifying based on their qualifying distance. And in the scoring, where each lap, each yard counts as a point, every runner in the team is of equal importance to every other athlete. They the Belgium has won 2 of the last 3 team championships, and really, although at least once they had the last runner going, they have really been winning based on the 8 through 12 athletes. This last edition, their first man didn't go out until 54 hours. Their 14th and 15th place runners built such a lead that the team was able to coast to victory. We do make an all-world team after the event is over, and the all-world consists of the top number 15, the top number 14, the top number 13. So every athlete who's taking part in the competition actually has a chance to make the all-world team, because you're really, if you're a 15, you're competing with all the other 15s. If you last longer than anybody else's 15, then your team has a lead to start the race. At the end, the winner of each race is a standalone backyard, with a winner declared in the end. When your team gets down to 2 runners, they can keep going. When you get down to the last runner, it's just 1 more lap like every other backyard. And so for your team to keep scoring, you still have to have 2 athletes alive, which leads to some real excitement late in the race when teams are trying to run each other down. The scoring comes out to be very dynamic in that people get ahead, people get behind. You can follow it on the internet and see the teams gradually jockeying for position. And at the end, you can see who's trying to run each other down. The winner of each country gets a gold ticket to the individual world championships in 2027, which, if y'all recall the coverage of the 2025 individual championships, it's really quite exciting. And that's an opportunity for athletes from smaller countries where that they don't have a chance to run the big elite level races to come out with plenty of assist capability and show what they can really do against the best in the world. So these are all exciting things. And I think the best part to me is that when you look at the individual countries, backyard is not something where that it's just the fastest runner or the strongest runner. Anybody out there who can finish their 4.166666667 miles in under an hour has a chance to make their national team. And if you look on the www.bigsbackyardultra.com website, look under 2026 qualifying, you can find your team roster and look it up. You can see the current standings on the at large. You can see where the silver ticket races are. Because that people who have had the opportunity to run in elite races have a they have the strength of a field to get bigger totals, and you don't want your team to just be the same runners recycled time after time. Each country will have a certain number of silver ticket races, and in those silver ticket races, it's the winner who gets a place on the team. The US has 7, probably the most common number of silver tickets is 5, but you can show up to that race and win. Last year we had the bronze ticket races, and the bronze winners were guaranteed a spot in one of the silver ticket races. So basically, you can run any of the affiliated backyards that you find on the Big Dog's Backyard Ultra calendar. And if you win that race, you have a chance to advance. And if you win that race, you advance and you end up on your national team, you win your national championship, you can go to Bigs. As an athlete myself, once upon a time, one of the things that I really hated was what I've heard, at least we used to refer to them as beauty contests, where you pick the people who are on a team. And as an athlete, I hated that. I thought it was set up for the benefit of the organizers and not the athletes. So the Backyard Ultra Association, Big Dogs Backyard Ultra Association, to qualify for championships is entirely in the control of the athletes. And the structure is set up so that it doesn't matter what anybody thinks. If you want your spot, you know how to get it. So I think I've covered everything based on the notes I wrote myself. I know one thing that I did leave out saying that uh, people had talked about, and I hadn't really thought about it. When you run these team championships, it's probably the only team championship in the world where every athlete is competing with a home field advantage. If you live in a cold country, it's going to be cold. If you live in a hot country, it's going to be hot. Whatever the normal weather that you've been training and preparing in, that's what you get to compete in. So really no one has an advantage, although there are adventures in the team championships every year. Someone will have hurricane weather, someone will have pouring rain, someone will have snow and ice. Last year we had a heat wave in the US that flattened us. A couple of years ago, South Africa, they had a bushfire. So it's always fun to watch it go along. We will have coverage of that from beginning to end. So that's, even if you don't make the championships, it's worth watching. So now back into what in the future will be the focus of things, which is to talk about what happened towards the team qualifying this last weekend. We had 2 silver ticket races where the winner earned a place on their national team. One of them was in the U.S. at the Summit Backyard Ultra in Texas, and we had Mark Dowdle, who won with 68 yards. And you will see the silver ticket races become very competitive because people who want a spot on the team are there. His assist was Stephanie Rosenbaugh. And so Mark Dowdle becomes new blood on the U.S. team. the cycling in, the people that you see come up through the bronzes and silvers, that's tomorrow's stars. One of these days we may watch Mark running for a world championship individual. In the Matamoros backyard in Mexico, the race was won by Rodolfo Leonidas. You probably remember him. He was a popular figure in the 2025 individual championships because he lived forever on the very cusp of elimination, coming in with just after the whistles, a minute to go, 2 minutes to go, but he kept stepping up to the line and going on. And people who run like that, who just won't go down, become really popular with the crowd watching outside, because you watch it from home and you think, I can't believe he's still going. I can't believe he's back again. Then we had a race which was not a silver ticket event, but at the last Samurai run in Tokyo, they had the unusual situation. There was no winner, but three people tied for the assist, and they all pushed each other so far that they earned themselves a spot on the Japanese team in the at-large, where there's a good chance that they'll last, but there's still 8 months of qualifying. So they had 62 yards, and it was Hideki Okawara, Shinya Abe, and Akihisa Koike. If you want to entertain yourself with something over the next few months, is weekly watching me try to pronounce names that I'm not sure what they are. But we will try to fill this space up with, instead of redescribing the team championships every year, with the things that have gone on that affect that, or other interesting stuff that comes up along the way. And then we'll follow that with one of Fabienne's, which that's an ever improving attempt to say Fabienne's name. I get closer every try, I think. So every week we'll have a short video on things of interest, and I think it's really going to be great this year. I've been looking forward to it because he'll be interviewing, what I forgot to say, the 3 different classifications last year. So you compete with countries with teams of a similar makeup to your own. The small teams, which was won by Guatemala, and the medium-sized teams won by Iceland. If you are aware of those things, you know Iceland has probably the tiniest population of any country in backyard, but their backyard community is really strong. And then the dominant world power, the large division, won once again by the Belgian team, which, hey, here in the US, we'd like to know what their secret is. They have incredible esprit de corps among the Belgian runners, and can be called nothing but the dominant world power. The rest of us are just trying to figure out how to compete. And I think at this point, I can just turn it over to Fabienne.
Some of the ultra runners already knew about it, but haven't experienced it. They like it because, the spirit of the group, of sharing every loop, and the companion that forms with the team. That's what they like the most. That pushed them to do another loop, or to try their hardest. Even though we run the race during one of the hottest months here in Guatemala.
Yeah.
But they really like it.
Our community now for Backyard Ultra Guatemala is like maybe 100 runners but that 100, they are very enthusiastic and they love the format. They have a great friendship, and Anna and I, we have 100 new friends. So
We're a kind of a small country. We almost see all the runners in all the races. So we came kind of like a family.
we think that it's going to be a new record soon. Maybe the next year. We hear that many runners they are training for that objective, and it's going to be the only objective for them. I think that maybe Guatemala is going to be maybe not like Mexico, because Mexico is in another league, but maybe like Argentina, Venezuela, Bolivia, and I think that is going to happen maybe the next year. The actual national champion, his name is Edgar Cali. His record is 26 loops, and he's preparing for 48 hours. So
we hope really that we stay on top of the list, at least for the small countries.
Since we've had the backyards in Iceland in 2020, we just had this huge group of people training specifically for the backyard, and the team, or the core of the team, are very competitive people, and this year or last year they were able to really have capture this team spirit, and they were doing anything, that like thinking about anything and everything to be able to reach their limits. I can tell that the women are really competitive, and and they don't give up. I've seen a lot of strong men with a potential giving up too soon in the backyard, when the women are I don't know, they are really struggling and in the pain cave, and of course we want to make sure that everybody's okay, but we have these women like Elisa, Mari, Marlena, and more up and coming, that they are really, they can handle the pain quite well and also have the endurance. And I can tell you, for the next like the standing now, the athlete standing for Iceland at the moment, is that we already have 7 women on the team now. We are selling out the events in just half an hour, and it's a mystery, but it's clearly something that every runner in Iceland wants to try. And now we have, like, the 24-hour mark is the new 100K mark for the Icelandic backyard population. And now we have a group, we have a bigger group that are aiming for the 30 yards and beyond. And I would predict for the next backyard this spring, we will have maybe up to 10 people reaching the 50. We always have a local television station broadcasting the whole event from the beginning to the end. The watching is higher for the backyard than maybe the biggest soccer games in Iceland. So I could say the whole population is watching. So it's putting a lot of pressure on the people that want to do good and want to win. The goal will, of course, to exceed the last results. I think I don't know where last will put us, but possibly in the middle competition, and we will of course aim to win the medium competition. it's still, you know, we have 1 year left to see who are going to be on the team and what people um, who are going to put a lot of effort in the training and be injury free. So I think we have quite a strong team at the moment and new fresh faces as well.
I guess it's because we approached the whole format of backyard ultra running as a team and as a community. Yeah, as you know, Belgium is a relatively small country, and so within our ultra running community, everybody knows each other. And over the years, we've all become friends as well. And yeah, especially with the backyard ultra, it's been now 5 years, I guess, since the first team championship in 2020. And I think because we've approached it as actually as a team, where the runners are friends with each other, where crew members are friends with each other, where runners and crew, like we're all one big group of friends basically. And so we all support each other. And I think that not only contributes to the Belgian success in this format, but also to why we like it, why we like organizing backyard ultras, why we travel across the world to support our runners. So yeah, I think it's really about the community we have in backyard ultra running. Yeah. For example, the 2024 World Championship, we focused as a team on breaking 1,000 laps as a team. And so we really worked towards that goal as a team, and we motivated the runners to reach that goal. And so obviously that's not an individual goal, that's a team goal. And in 2022, we had the same, which was breaking 100, so 100 laps, which is more of an individual goal, but you cannot do it by yourself. So it obviously becomes a team goal as well. And I guess when you set these goals that are impossible to reach all on your own, you become very invested. And like 100 hours, it's not nothing to spend together day and night. You help each other to rough moments, but you're also there for celebrations of personal bests being broken, and helping out a runner who had a difficult couple of hours and seeing him make it through that rough patch. So you really we live this as a team. And so well, I mean, you have to ask the runners themselves, but I can imagine if you then reach that point where you've broken a world record, you've broken your team, or you made your team goal, it becomes difficult to then, I guess, go in a race mode. Which, yeah, it's different at bigs, but like in the team world championship, it's all about a team. And then we have these extra goals for ourselves that we created, so the team element is even stronger. So yeah, and then taking into account that Marijn and Ivo and Frank are 3 friends as well, it becomes really difficult, I think, to then say, and now we're gonna race each other. So yeah, the concept of backyard ultra has been evolving so fast ever since 2020, and there are countries that are doing extremely well. I don't know, like the US obviously, and Australia, but like Japan, Poland. There's so many great countries that are going so far as well, and it's really amazing to see how the concept is evolving, and also how other countries are approaching this this concept, and I'm guessing also starting maybe to think more as a team. So that's really nice to see. And yeah, I don't know what to expect. Let's see. I'm sure we have familiar faces in our team, and yeah, we expect to go far. But yeah, you never know what's gonna happen. There's so many variables that can change the course of the event.
Well, hello, people. We turned off our sound here for fear that you would be able to hear us if we made a sound. So I'm going to have to watch this after it's over so I can see the segments that you put together. We did have some good questions coming across. The first one being, what was the date of the team championships? Third Saturday in October. We don't have the championships bouncing around that much, so you can count on it. If you want to figure the championship in any year, it's always going to be the third Saturday in October. And then the question that was asked was, the U.S. be competing on the same course? And I really thought, because Biggs has a reputation for being a pretty difficult trail section, that the team members would want to switch and have it moved to different places. But really, all of the people who were on the at-large list and the team manager, there's seemed to be a lot of sentiment to stay at Biggs. And for one thing, we've proven in the World Championships year after year that having a difficult course, if it's not just over the top, doesn't preclude people from setting good marks. And the U.S. team feels like when they go to the individual championships, having experience on Biggs courses an advantage, which I could go with that. And then we just look at it. The U.S. is so big; we have lots of advantages. Uh, why not? Why not make it even up more? And besides, what it comes down to now is we're like every other team. We've got to put a target on Belgium's back and figure out how to match their game, because that's how sports improves. I did want to mention Don Stone, who was on the individual broadcast with us last October, is the actual U.S. team manager this year. I tried to do that and organize the team championship, and the U.S. runners really got short shrift. So we've got someone who's going to do a really good job helping the U.S. team get ready to compete. Had a question about, were we going to have featured hours for the different teams this year? And I am excited to say that was something Fabian and I have discussed also, because it was really fun on our end to be able to focus on a country and give them credit and give them recognition and exposure. And it also works out with the competition going around the world. We can take each team and put them on and feature them during prime time in their country. Nobody gets stuck with the 2 a.m. time slot, because we have all 24 hours to work with, which is delightful fun on the broadcast team. So yes, we will be featuring every country. We had the question, if a different nationality wins a silver ticket race, what happens? And that happens more often than you would really think. And what happens if a different nationality wins a silver ticket event, then for that country the silver ticket is voided and an extra spot goes back to the at-large list. And the same thing happens if you don't have a winner. If you have one of those 2 or 3 person ties for the assist, then you can't back into a silver ticket. The silver ticket is a reward for the athlete who has showed up on the day that counts, or days, and performed and won the event. So you win your way in. With the nature of things, the elite races, which there's not very many, obviously are more likely to get the giant totals. So these silver ticket winners we have found here in the U.S., our silver ticket winners come in and they have a smaller total as a rule than the the established runners who have already been in the elite competition, and they want to show they belong. And year after year, those new guys coming in off the silver ticket list, it just kind of, it's like a refresher for your pool of athletes. These are the incoming stars as some of the older stars just get older, because when you live long enough in athletics, when you see the new star come up, the first thing you think is that the clock is running. They'll only be at the top for so long. Then I did want to mention a couple of things that I had not mentioned before. The at-large list starts at 24 hours. Feel like in the smaller countries, not everybody on the team will have made 24 hours at this point. You have some of the, as the competition just begins, 24 hours is pretty much an achievement. And we feel like anyone who makes 24 hours needs to have earned a place on that at-large list. And if within their country, that puts them in the top 15, a place on the team. If there's not all 24 hours, then the team manager gets to select the remaining athletes, which is a lot less exciting for the team manager once you realize that's a lot harder than you think. And the other thing was, since I'm going to have to watch this back over again to see Fabien's clip, I'm anxious to see it because Elisabeth is on there from Iceland, and we've been in communication for a long time as Iceland has been building up their backyard community to the state that it is now, to the level it is. And that's the first time I've ever actually seen her. And it reminds me, and you saw that the team managers of these three top teams, all women. And I hope that we'll have a segment one day of the women who have participated on the organizing end with me over the years, because of their invaluable contributions to the backyard. And now I can look and see, more questions to roll across to make sure that I don't miss anybody. Tomorrow is the Madeira Backyard Ultra in, I am guessing that flag is Portugal. It's pretty small. I've learned a lot about flags. We hang up the flags of all the countries with backyards at the during the World Championship races. And we have our crowd control barriers and we hang them. And I've gotten to where I recognize a lot of the flags. The diabolical laughter. That's not diabolical. Can you talk about how to get on the team? Is the only way to make it with a silver coin? No, once again, it's the at-large list is where most of the runners will come from. It's over the past two competition years, which starts August the 16th. For the qualifying for people who make the championships, we want them to have a 2-month space of time to be fully recovered. You don't want someone to have to give the race of their life and then 2 weeks later try to compete in a championship event. So it's 2 years worth of qualifying. So it started, I hope to get this, August 16th of 2024 through August 15th of 2025 was the bronze ticket period. Then we're in the silver ticket period until next August 15th. And when you get to August, you will see among the silver tickets a lot of last chance events. The countries that really have figured the whole thing out, you'll have those last chance events. Runners who want to get in have tried different silver tickets. But also during this 2-year period, you can run a race in any country in the world. Some of the countries have athletes on their team who are expatriates and live in a different country and haven't even actually run a backyard in their home country, but they ran a backyard in the country where that they live, and then they can make the trip back to compete on their national team. Also eligible because of the costs of, and difficulty of travel. If the team decides it's good, and most teams do accept this, a permanent resident who lives in that country but is still a citizen elsewhere can be on that national team. I think I've covered the key points on that, being that the at large is the way to get on most of the teams. If you have the teams like the U.S. and Belgium, Poland, Spain, France, these teams that are really up and coming that we'll be talking about more in the subsequent weeks, then your best bet is a silver ticket unless you're already one of the runners who has recorded a big result. But you also see situations, especially in the last chance races or silver tickets, where people come and they run a big enough. You get several good athletes conspire. We're all going to run at this race. And then they push each other and pull each other until they get enough yards to get onto the national team. Backyard is very much a team sport. And any race that you get two stubborn people, they can pull each other onto the team. So yeah, I have a question at the top. Is bronze tickets still a thing? And yeah, no, we're the silver ticket year. The first year of the qualifying period is bronze tickets. This second year is the silver ticket year as it approaches the race, because you have to have time for the bronze ticket winners to earn a spot in the silver ticket race and have their due recovery period before that they run to take the next step. Which the UK runner, and that's another thing coming up. The UK the leaders on several of the teams right now are women. Sarah Perry in the UK has the national record. Edith Friends in Hungary has the national record and is the top member of the Hungarian team. And I cannot remember the other ones off the top of my head. It's in a different set of notes that was on my computer, and I can't look at them and be on screen at the same time. But I think that we'll talk more in one of our future programs about the women. The Icelanders have shown, because that they use the entire population of Iceland to make their team. They don't have the women's division set aside different from everyone else. And they showed the power with a team that had 8 women and only 7 men. So they had fewer of the weaker half. Let's see if I have more questions. Okay, didn't really know they're responding to the answers. So I don't see another question on here. If Fabian has a few words he'd like to say, it's a shame. You should hear from him, because I'll take this time to brag that Fabian has been with the championship since the very inception, and I think we've all learned together, and it ended up this last year with, I thought, a masterful broadcast of the individual championships that got unprecedented viewership, and with the excitement of the team championships coming up, it can only build. I can tell you from having gone from when the only coverage was an hourly Facebook update, that when your country is hanging in there at the end, or when you have the drama like the Australian team last year pulling from behind, or Guatemala pulling from behind, the runners can look at the responses going on, and the athletes see the support they're getting from home. It's kind of exciting to watch your team run somebody down. So I think at that point, I've got no more questions this week. I think we're going to build up. I did have the one hoping I had a great Thanksgiving. I ate a lot of food, great food. My daughter and son-in-law prepared the Thanksgiving dinner for us, and I ate enough for 4 people, which is kind of my minimum standard. And then we watched a lot of football. And then I tried to track down the results of this week's races, which we're gonna be sending something out to the race directors and tell them to send us the exciting things that have occurred in their events so that we can be sure and get it together. I think the future broadcasts we're going to shoot for Thursday, but on a day dedicated to food and football, it had to slide back a day. You can't miss your food and football. And this is a remote location. I'll usually be in my house, which is not as neat and clean as this. But over the course of the next year, there is no telling where we will pop up to do this broadcast from, because my life is a little peripatetic. So with that, I'm ready to sign off. I don't know how we finish this up. Fabienne's now in charge.